All right, guys, it's the OC, and this is my recap of the Dallas Cowboys versus the Washington Commanders. Listen, I got a lot to say in this video, but before I do, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment to Boss Cowboy Sports. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can follow me, the OC100, on Twitter. So, the Cowboys lose versus the Washington Commanders in a game that could have resulted in us winning the NFC East. Nevertheless, the Philadelphia Eagles beat the New York Giants. So we are essentially the 5th seed in the East, and we play a wild card game next week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who won the NFC South while pretty much resting Tom Brady. Now, I'm going to get into almost every position type in this particular video just to illustrate in brief what I think about the overall strategy and the schematics of what happened in that game. And I will give you guys a silver lining. There is some good that came out of the game, and I think that many of us, including myself, who was very upset yesterday, may be overlooking the fact that there are some positives that came out of this game, or that could come out of this game in this coming weekend's playoff matchups. Do or die, play or go home, win or go home type situation. So, let's start off offensively. Offensively with the Cowboys, it was probably the most pedestrian effort that I've seen the Cowboys display all year long, including when Cooper Rush was inserted to play the games that Dak Prescott missed at the beginning of the season. In terms of running the ball, we were not effective at all running that football. We, ran, and maybe we had a 5-yard carry, I believe. I think that was our best carry of the game, a 5 or 6 yard carry. So I mentioned this before in previous videos, and that's why please check them out below. You can see the videos I did about the Washington Redskins and why this game was important below. But, the Washington Commanders had nothing to lose. And Ron Rivera, the head coach, which, was a really good linebacker for some years for the Minnesota Vikings, was a head coach at the Carolina Panthers. This guy's a defensive guy. And so he had these guys playing really tough inside, playing extremely downhill, and they limited us in terms of the run game, in particular with Ezekiel Elliott averaging, I believe, less than 1 yard per carry. He didn't do very well. Tony Pollard was, a guy that got about 6, maybe 7 touches on yesterday, and really it didn't amount to much. Offensively speaking, in terms of the passing game, you had Dak Prescott not play very well, to say the least. He threw a pick 6. He threw into double coverage a few different times. Noah Brown somehow being the option versus a double team coverage at the top of the defense, and it just didn't work out very well. And I will say this is one of the games that you want to see your team come out and finish strong. And if you don't finish strong and you play with different combinations of things, or you rest players, which we really didn't rest CeeDee Lamb because he got, I believe, 10 or so targets. So you didn't really rest him, right? He had the only touchdown for the Cowboys, great catch in the end zone in the game. But if you're going to rest, my contention is rest. Just rest. So you don't have the mental barrier of dealing with the fact that we lost and we kind of got physically beat with a team that's not going to make the playoffs at the end of the season. Now, the Cowboys have shown great bounce back ability and the ability to bounce back and to come back from a loss. They haven't had consecutive losses all year. However, if you're going to rest, this is my thought. You just need to rest. You don't need to have a situation to where you go out, you play a lot of starters, and you lose in that manner, because I believe that momentum is something that is hard to get, but it's easy to lose. And so that's my thought and balance after having a night to sleep on it, to think on it. and to really recalibrate this whole win-loss situation. Now, the offensive line, we didn't get an exceptional amount of push up front. Pass pro-wise, I feel like they did get some pressures, but we were not bad. Jason Peters was not bad at the left tackle position. He did overset some to compensate for the speedy Chase Young. However, overall, he was solid. He had good fundamentals in terms of his sets, getting back, sitting his butt down, being ready to shoot with his hands. Tyler Smith did a serviceable job, and not serviceable overall, besides not getting pushed in certain situations. He played pretty well at guard, and overall, I think the offensive line in and of itself, in terms of protection, did not play that bad. All right, did not play that bad. So, you know, the silver lining there is this, is that if Jason Peters can hold up and be consistent and be what he was versus the Commanders in the playoffs, if we're committed to leaving him at left tackle, then I feel like overall we're going to be okay there, right? We're going to be okay there, and I believe the young rookie will be better versus the Bucks. He'll get some rest this week, and the whole offensive line, they really should get some rest, as much rest as possible. Go through their practice, go through all the things they need to do, but get a lot of rest, because they're going to need their best effort to play against this Tampa Bay Bucks defense this coming weekend. And going to the defense was put in a couple of very bad positions, you know, being virtually inside of the 20 on a couple possessions, with the punter dropping the snap and our punt returner dropping a ball and creating a turnover. So overall, in the first half, they held up. But, you know, you get to the second half, you get to a team that's controlling the ball and winning the time of possession by a significant amount, and over time you get worn down and they begin to make more plays later in the game. And so that's what you saw happen to the Dallas Cowboys. And hey, will that happen in the playoffs? Well, I'm going to say this. It's something that could happen in the playoffs, and it's something that we have to be ready for. In terms of our pass rush, again, we didn't have a really good pass rush day, and I think it's really because we lack gap integrity. And I think, you know, I made a video about Micah Parsons and how to effectively use Micah Parsons and what are some strategies to maximize him. I did see Micah Parsons drop a play or two. I think that's a good change of pace in terms of dropping him into coverage. I did see Damone Clark struggle in coverage, and he has to be a little bit sharper in coverage because Tom Brady's going to try to work underneath. I feel like we played a backup corner that, man, this guy, I don't, it was his addition out there. It was his dress rehearsal addition out there, Milligan, or Millman, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing his name. I don't care. He shouldn't play. He doesn't need to be out there. And the silver lining is that you're gonna play Bland, Nashawn Wright. Maybe we see a little bit of Kelvin Joseph in there, right? Maybe we see a little bit of our new signed DB from the Colts in there, right? And we're gonna be better at corner. So that's the silver lining. We're gonna be better at corner. Also, the silver lining too is that from what I've seen thus far, Carlos Watkins, of all people, he was one of the strongest guys against the run. He played pretty well against the run. I feel like, based upon how he's played on first down, that he deserves more snaps. And hey, we also get the big fella back off an injury this week, our road grader, our one technique, coming back from the Raiders. And look, that was signed from the Raiders. And man, look, he is a big deal, and he's going to be a big 350-pound man on the inside of that defense and going to do a great job for us. So, you know, those things are the silver lining, and I really do think that we were content to lose this game from a coaching staff perspective because of some of the guys that we play. We play a lot of backups. We mix a lot of people in. We let Noah Brown be the basically number 1 or 2 receiver based upon the play. And at the end of the day, that wasn't a recipe to really win this game. And I believe we were very vanilla offensively. So I believe that Kellen Moore is on purpose sandbagging plays, because he didn't want to show too much or give any fresh, clean, good tape, which he did a good job of that, because we definitely didn't do that. So I feel like that Kellen Moore will be in his bag coming up versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that defensively we'll have a much more aggressive defense, and we'll have some guys back. Hopefully LVE we'll have back. We'll get the big nose tackle back. Hopefully we play him, Bohanna, and Watkins, because I think really they're our best shot at stopping the inside power run game, and those guys deserve some run in particular. And I feel like that we'll have the best corners out there, and we won't be additioning any corners that we just signed. So those things to me, guys, are the silver lining and my recap of the game, and why I feel like we got a shot here. I feel like that we got a shot to really be all right. So let me know your thoughts below. Let me know what you think about the content. Don't forget to follow Boss Cowboy Sports on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can follow me, though, C100 on Twitter. And until next time, see you.